Hello and welcome to the Slow Ready Podcast, a casual drive into the music and culture of Goose. I'm Mike, joined as always with my co-host Alex, and we're back and very excited to welcome our friends Lindsay and Matthew from the Goose Street Team. But before we get into our main topic, Alex, why don't we take care of the basic housekeeping?
Yeah, just be sure to follow us at Slow Ready Pod on all the socials. We're on Instagram, YouTube, TikTok, Blue Sky. We try to hit them all up as much as possible, although we've taken a nice break during this break in Goose Tour here. So we'll get back to being active here soon. But that's about it. So, Mike, how about we get into some hot tea?
Yeah, not a ton of news and notes, and we're very excited to get into this interview here. But while we were in this break, Goosemas did get announced in Atlantic City. So let your theme guesses run wild, because just like last year, it's kind of sparse and leaving it all up to mystery. So your guess is as good as ours, I'm gonna imagine. But we're both planning on going, Alex, right?
Yeah, I live 10 minutes from the venue. Of course I got to go.
It's automatic for you.
Don't even have to board the dogs, man. We just go. Awesome.
What about y'all, Matthew and Lindsay? Either of you planning on going to Atlantic City?
So unfortunately, I can't make it, but I'll be at the Mohegan Sun shows for my 21st birthday.
Oh, it's a big way to celebrate.
Yeah.
We're still on the fence if we're gonna head out there. I'd like to. Goosemas always happens to fall like right around my birthday. My birthday is December 13th, and I've never been to a Goosemas.
Oh my gosh.
Which is nuts. Wow. Yeah, it's nuts.
Let's remedy that this
One
year.
of these birthdays. Yeah. Yeah, we got to get you up there for one of those birthdays. That's a good way to celebrate it. And then
I know, I feel like a bad street team coordinator.
No, Lindsay's the best. Lindsay's the best.
Stop.
And then the only other news was just that Goose publicly announced that the Wi-Fi checks out for the rest of the summer, which not too surprising there, but good to know that Colorado and the West Coast, we're going to all be able to watch it from our couch if you're not able to attend, which is true for us. So with that being said, not a lot of other news and notes. Peter had to take some time off for his wedding, so everything's kind of dry here. And so we're going to get right into our interview, which is the flow down for this week. And I'm going to start things off with, I guess, like the most basic of all questions. How did both of you find out about Goose, and what kind of brought you in?
Matthew, you want to start?
Yeah, so it started with these two girls I liked. So during the pandemic, I was getting into the Grateful Dead because my dad's an old school Deadhead. He grew up on the Dead, and my mom was getting into the Dead at the time too. And in high school, I was having my 16th birthday party, and I wanted to invite these two girls, but they couldn't go because they were seeing a band, and the band was Goose. So I looked up Goose on Apple Music, and I saw it was related to J-Rad on Apple Music, and I went to play the electronic playlist, Night Lights, and it started with the old All I Need. And I was about to go on a run, and I played it, and I just started running, and I loved it. Like, I was enamored by that song. And I kept on listening to Goose casually, and the Grateful Dead, a little bit of Fish, and I really started to get into the band. And for my graduation gift for my senior year of high school, my dad and I went to Playing in the Sand in 2023. And on the plane on the way there, we were walking through the gate, and I remember feeling a bit tired, and my dad pointed to a guy. He's like, "Oh, look, that guy has his guitar. It's going to be fun. People are going to be playing music, Matthew." And we stopped for a minute. I looked behind me, and I'm like, I thought to myself, that guy seems familiar. I texted my dad. Oh my gosh, I think the lead singer for Goose is standing right behind me. And my dad looks behind me. He sees a Goose sticker on Rick's guitar case, and he's like, "Oh, we love your music." And I'm like, "I love Arcadia and Moonrise." And he's like, "Yeah, thanks, dude." And it was so nice. It was so funny. We got onto the plane, and we saw the whole band boarding the plane, and it was really cool. And then at the concert, it was night 2 of Playing in the Sand. They opened up with Hunger Sight. My dad and I were like, we met him. And then and there I was hooked. Yeah.
That's
Wow, what an
incredible.
origin story.
Yeah, it's a pretty cool origin story. And then I got to meet them in New York City at that pop up, and that was really cool too. Which that was fun.
Amazing.
What about you, Lindsay?
I met them a little bit further back. My first show was in February of 2018. I live in Middletown, Ohio, which is about 40 minutes north of Cincinnati, Covington. And at the time, this music scene down there was incredible. I mean, there was constant shows, there was constant jam bands, and there was this little place called Octave. If you've heard of Octave, yeah, yeah.
It's
um,
legendary. It's
it
legendary.
Yes.
it is. It was our favorite place in the world. Me and all of my close friends, we would go there every weekend. There was always something happening. There was always live music, um, and it's really where I fell in love with jam. And so one day, our friends were like, "Hey, there's a free show down in Covington and at Octave. Let's go." I couldn't miss the first. I missed the first time that Goose came through. What they did was they were just kind of traveling around the Midwest out to Colorado and just playing like little free shows here and there. I think their main goal was to get out to Colorado, but they picked some stops in between, and we were lucky enough to catch them. I caught them on their way back on their little free tour, and I think there were probably like 10 of my closest friends and then maybe like 10 other people. There was nobody here. Um, and they played and we were blown away. We could not believe the talent that was coming out of these guys for a free show. And my friends and I were just like looking around at each other like, well, like, is this real? Like, what is this? Who are they? And yeah, the rest is history. I can keep going on that, but
No, that's incredible.
Very cool.
Those are legendary shows. Like I believe the first 2-night stands they ever did, or at least the first like recorded 2-night stands. So you saw something special.
Well, what really happened was we just got to talking with them. They came out from the tiny little stage. I mean, when I say the stage was like, it was just a step up off the ground. It wasn't as really even a stage. And so my friends and I, we just got to talking with them. We learned that they were just kind of traveling around in their van. So we're like, do you guys need a place to stay? And they're like, yeah. So they came back and they crashed with us. And yeah, we had some drinks and we were just hanging out. And I looked at Ben, who's no longer with the band, but I looked at Ben and I was like, do you guys want a street team? Do you guys you guys are incredible. Like, why don't people know about you? And he just kind of looked at me. He was like, yes, we want a street team. Absolutely.
So cool.
So that's how it started.
Yeah.
It's just as simple as that. Over a few beers.
Yeah. Just over a couple beers and hanging out, giving them a place to crash, basically. I mean, they had been traveling around in Trevor's old van and, just trying to figure it out. So Ben was like, we need a street team, but you and Peter and Rick need to talk. So the three of us, we started, Zoom meetings, which were not that great in 2018. I'll be honest, but
Yeah.
and we just started strategizing. We just we're like, let's make a plan. They were so excited about our energy. My group of friends, I don't know if you've ever heard of Flavortown. They reference it here and there in their some of their live sets, but they were so excited about this group of friends and the energy that we had, and they went back to their management at the time, and they're like, we have to come back to Covington slash Ohio. Like, this is, where it's at. And so that's where the 2-night run kind of stemmed from in June. Like, it is,
Mhm.
yeah, their first 2-night run. So,
Yeah, that's just awesome. So I that story is not well known at all. I never heard that before. Um, and it's just so funny to know that they just like y'all were a cool hang, so they wanted to come back. And then 2 night stand, they bring Getty on, the lights are ripping. It's just crazy how much they escalated from that.
for sure. For sure. Yeah, Getty came on. He changed the game. He's crashed on my floor before, too. um, yeah, that 2-night run, that was absolutely incredible. It still kind of gives me chills thinking about, because they're like, we're going to try something we've never done before. We're going to do this 2-night run. And my group of friends, like, we have this huge love for music. And yeah, at the time, so one of my closest friends is Dale Hubkey. He actually ended up designing their current Goose script, and a few pins for them, a few posters for them. And then my friend Colin Martin, he's a graphic designer. So we were like, hey, if we're going to promote this 2-night show, we need something to promote with. Like, we need some artwork, we need something. And at the time, they hadn't even ever sold a poster before. Like, they had never done posters. So we collaborated. I drew up the concept for like that 2-night run poster. Oh, there's no like name for it, but I just like imagine like Fonzie. So like the goose with the slick back hair and the
Yep.
um,
Yeah.
Leather jacket, and they came up and cleaned it up. And so yeah, so that's where their first poster came from. And like then we used that and printed it off. I mean, they didn't have any money at the time, at least to be like investing in this. So we just did it for them. And so we printed off all these like posters and handbills, and yeah, first goose print.
So that's the first street team official work, I'm guessing, right? Technically. Um, and at this point, it's escalated into something much bigger, I have to imagine. So, from your little group of friends, how many people are involved in the street team now? Like, how much has it grown?
Well, that's a little bit of a story because it's kind of changed over the years. Um, at first we started with a Facebook group, and I just kind of started like picking people out of El Goose. And at the time, there was like maybe 3,000 people in there, which was, I mean, a good amount, honestly, for a fan page. I think there were more people in their fan page than had liked like their actual like band page. And I would recruit from there. And I'm trying not to get like lost in the story because there's so many different moving parts to this, but
Okay.
um, yeah.
Okay. So, roughly how big would you say like the team is, if you can share that?
Right now, right now, I've got about 36 people, but I kind of had to start over from what I had originally. Me and like my friends had started and originally built back in 2018. So in 2018, we started with Covington slash Ohio. And we just started recruiting everybody locally. We built that up. Um, Octave really didn't have that big of a capacity. I think it was like 300 people max. So the first real street team initiative was to like let's pack Octave. And so we used our friends, our team. I wouldn't even call it like the street team then. It was just our group of friends, honestly. And so we just used our networks and we just invited everybody. And we really, I mean, the basis of it was just, you have to come see this band. Nobody knows about them. They're absolutely incredible. And I mean, you just gotta come. So like that was it. Like we just invited people because of our energy made other people excited want to come like check it out. And so um, that I mean, I think I think what they saw in Covington and Octave from going from just a couple people to filling that whole room, standing room only, basically, they were like, okay, something's working here.
Yeah, that's that's a big change, right? Because you said something like 20 people at those shows that you went to filling up the room
Yeah,
like that. Holy cow!
yeah. And so from there, it just kind of escalated. So like Peter and Rick, like not only are they crazy talented in general, but they have like a very business they're business minded. They're very smart with what they do. Not only do they spend an incredible amount of time, perfecting their talent, but they're also very much like we want to understand the inner workings of this industry, and we don't want to just be the artist. We want to help put this in motion. So that 2 night run, we had a lot of fun. Actually, have you noticed their mustaches? I don't know if like.
Oh yeah, of course. The
Do you want to
mustaches
hear the
back then.
mustache?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sorry. The
Great.
mustache story. Okay. So for the 2 night run, me and my friends, we all rented this Airbnb down in Covington, and it was hilariously named the Golden Goose. Like it was the Goose House, and like we just picked it because it was enough for like it was a big enough place for like 30 people to kind of just crash and hang. But it was called like the Golden Goose or something crazy. It was so funny. And so um I can't I'm pretty sure it was night 2. And we're all just hanging out during the day. And Rick went upstairs and like was getting ready or whatever, and he just comes down and he just struts down the steps, cool as ever, with a fresh mustache. And everybody just kind of was like, "Whoa." And then Peter's like, "I want a sick mustache." And then he comes up, he comes back down, he's like rocking it. And then my friend Dale, who did the Goose script and their first pin and a few other things, he was like, "Well, I got to be a part of this." So he goes up, and they come down, and they're just like looking so goofy. They're looking so goofy, but so good with their 70s stashes or whatever. And so it was such a hit. Like after the 2 night run, we collaborated and we were like, we're gonna make this mustache situation a thing, right? And so we would take that into other like shows that they would play. I remember specifically they opened for Pigeons, and we just made a strategy. Like we brought in like Easter eggs full of just like fake mustaches and just littered the crowd with them. And it was just something fun, like it's fun and exciting, and mustaches they stuck.
Peter especially.
Yeah.
Um, it's very funny
So
because they a lot of them do have mustaches now. Um, or and especially Peter, yeah.
so I'm curious, you mentioned you kind of had to start over. What was that like? How did that happen? Like I guess there were like two parts to the street team, it sounds like.
Yeah. Yeah, that's a good way to put it actually. So when we first started, it's 2018. We're really ramping up, and I'll skip over Peach. Peach Fest was our team's like most epic, most epic support
Yeah.
here. But what happened was COVID, right? Like anything. And so when they couldn't play live shows, but they took off with like bingo tour and everything. Um, I had a Facebook group of about 4,000 people, and then not everybody was like super active like so active though. Like we use that platform because it was like an easy way to get a large amount of people to be able to join, a group and then, jump on like street team activities and whatnot. But once COVID happened and they weren't touring so much, obviously, other than, like social media sharing and whatnot, they didn't really like need the street team at that point. And then once, I really do feel for all of the bands that really took a hard hit for COVID because I mean, that was devastating for so many different artists and so many different groups of people um, in and out of the music industry. Goose, I mean, they were extremely smart with that. So smart that when things, came back around from COVID and like we were doing those drive-ins and slowly starting to bring in, live concerts, they were selling out so fast. Like it's really hard to promote a show that's sold out, So
Yeah.
and then there was some like management changes. So it was 2024 and me and my husband and my stepson went back to it was November 2024 in Cincinnati. They played at the Andrew J. Brady arena, and yeah, we were backstage, and I was just like, Peter, like, if you guys ever need any support, and I was like, I don't know if you guys are going anywhere anytime soon, but we could promote the shit out of Europe. And at that time, I didn't even know it was planned because they don't tell me anything. I'm out of the dark.
Yeah.
But yeah, so after that, their current management reached out and was like, "Hey, let's get this going again."
Awesome.
Amazing.
And so then how did that bring you to Matthew?
Well, actually, their marketing team reached out to me and they said, "Hey, we've got somebody who's really, really excited about this band. I think you want to talk to. Like, talk to him about street teaming." And part of my like as a street team coordinator, I've never done this for another band. I've never done this before in my life. I would love to take on more bands. I think it's super super fun, but I just do this for them. But like my strategy, and I don't know if you guys have ever street teamed in the past. Street
Nope.
teaming really is like a mix of passing out printed materials, is bringing in hype. Like you're really just you're inviting other people to come and like check out the band. And I've done that before. Mostly before Goose, I was doing it for like a free ticket. I was like, I was broke. I want to go to the show. Heck yeah, I'll street team. And street teaming in the past, I've done it for a few different bands, few different like companies, organizations, whatever you want to call them. But they were very like you have to do a certain amount of assignments, right? You have to like earn your ticket, and to do that you need to share this many posts, and you need to like take this many pictures of proof of you doing this and that and whatever. And when I came across Goose and I was like, hey, you guys want a street team, my thought was, I want to recruit people who are so excited for this band. Like, it doesn't matter whether they get a ticket or not, like they just want to share the love of Goose. And so that's how I came across Matthew, was his energy and his excitement and his like drive to like share this band. I was like, you're already promoting, like you're doing it. So heck yeah, join the team.
All my friends will tell you that I talk about Goose nonstop, and I'll even like if I say something and it's a line in a Goose song, like, oh yeah, I'm so ready for this. When if we're gonna like go hang out or something, everyone knows that's a Goose reference. And at one of my birthday parties, I made a Goose playlist, and we're all singing along to some of the songs. Everyone in my circle knows about Goose. It's like crazy.
You're doing the work, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. Before I was a street teamer, I've two friends that got into Goose, and it was a gateway for them to get into other music. My good friend Parker I got him into Goose um, my freshman year of college. So, and he's a year older than me. So he's like one of my closest friends. And I told him about this band Goose that I listened to, and he started listening. The hook for him was Pancakes. Like he got really into that song. He started listening, and that summer we saw them at Forest Hills, and he loved it. It was his first concert. And then throughout the year, I got more and more into them. We saw them at MGM in Boston, and then we saw them at the 2025 Garden Show. And then I started street teaming last summer around this time. And my other friend from high school named Ben, he didn't really listen to much music before Goose. And then I introduced him to Goose with Factory Fiction, because sometimes in the gym he'd work out to EDM. So I thought Factory Fiction would be a good intro, and he loved it. And then he just started keep on listening. And we went to go see Goose this past summer in New York, and his mom's so into them now. His family's into Goose, and he loves Billy Strings now too. So for both my friends, was a gateway into the jam band world. And when I met Rick and Trevor at the pop up in New York, I was telling them that. And I think that's what makes Goose so appealing and why I love it so much. Not only the relatability of the music and some of the lyrics, it's that it's a gateway for the jam band world, which could be a little bit intimidating, but their studio albums make it so accessible, in my opinion, to have a nice balance between the lyrics and the song and then the jamming. And it's great because for a jam band, for me with the Grateful Dead, I got into them through the studio albums with American Beauty, which is Everything Must Go is kind of for me the American Beauty of Goose, because it jumps into different genres. But yeah, it's incredible. And there's one guy in my internship program. He studies music business at NYU, and I think I read somewhere that Peter might have went there. And I did a program on a retreat for my internship. We all had to do a 5-minute presentation, and mine was on Good Times, End Times. So I showed the music video, and then we talked about it. And this one guy I'm friends with, this music kid, he's like, "Oh, that was an incredible song. I can tell these guys like know jazz and really know music." I'm like, "I'm gonna send you so many songs," and now he's really getting into them. So the next time they're in New York, he's gonna go see them. Um, so, and then at school, I'll hand out flyers and talk to people. I'll send people songs, and then I have an Instagram account called Goose on the Go _, and I tell people about like other cool accounts, like they call me Dennis and Ted Dead Jed, which are great accounts. And yeah, I just love the community. It's like, I mean, like it's become like I'm droning on now, but it's become just like a part of my identity being a Goose fan. It's like incredible.
And see everything that Matthew just said, this is why I was like, I want him on the team. Like, this is the energy.
You can
Like
see,
the lore.
you can see that right away.
Oh yeah, if someone comes up to me and says Goose, or if I see someone on the street with a Goose hat or a Goose shirt, I'm like, Goose, like let's go, because it's so much more than a band. It's like a community. It's it's like I joke as like a religion. Maybe like I went to a Fish show. I've been to 2 Fish shows at the Garden. I went to night 1 this past run this summer, and like you could see like pockets of the crowd come alive for some songs, and it reminded me of a Goose show too, because I'm not as familiar with Fish as Goose, but it was great. But just the energy that and the confidence they project to their fans and the compassion they show in their music, in their meet and greets, and it really comes back to the community and how it comes across in the music. And it just, everyone who loves Goose. And I've noticed the more shows I go to since last summer, and since I've started street teaming, the more invested people are and the less willing people are to like, oh, Goose. People like these guys for me are the Grateful Dead. Just like my dad grew up in the 80s and he had the Grateful Dead. Some people have Fish. For me, like Goose is like the Grateful Dead, essentially, which people might call me crazy, but I don't get to follow around Jerry Garcia, but I get to follow around Rick, Peter, Trevor, and Cotter, and it's so cool. And like just the whole thing, like Big Modern, don't even get me started. Like incredible. It like blows me away every time.
And I'll just say, like, Matthew is like the epitome of what I was looking for when we first started the street team, right? So we knew that these guys in 2018, they're touring around, nobody knows who they are, but they're incredibly talented. And so my strategy was I intentionally looked for people like Matthew who just could not believe their ears and were so just I don't even know what the word really is, which is like enthralled by
Yeah,
this band. And it was an experience, right? And so I like to call it planting seeds.
yeah,
And so what I would do is I would find people and I would kind of map out, where are they playing next? What are they doing next? How can I connect with people in that area to that might have an interest in the band, or maybe they've heard of them, or maybe it was like we're leaning to our networks, whether it's like the band's friends who are all over the country. Like I would just kind of just start I just started recruiting. We just started planting seeds. And um, I think the biggest um, feat that we did was Peach in
yeah. That's a.
2019,
I
Peach Music Festival.
I listened to that show a couple times. Like, so I really like map out Goose history in my head. This is stuff I think about on my free time. Um, just jam band history, but especially Goose is really interesting to me because I grew up like when my mom would like drive me to school as a like high school, middle school, we would always put on David Lemieux's show for the Grateful Dead, and it got me thinking about the Dead's history. And you think about Goose's history, like the Peach Festival was such a turning point for them, you know. Which I've listened to that show plenty of times, and then like MSG 2025 is like My Cornell 77, like that Factory Fiction opener. Um, and then like seeing them evolve from when I started listening to them, even a couple years ago with like All I Need, that song changing. I was listening to the first debut of Big Modern today and how that song's changed. And just even like when Lindsay and I talk about Goose, it always makes me think about how Rick, he even talked about it on the news about how he wants to create different worlds. And that I think about all the time too. I think about like the different worlds in Chain Your Dragon or the world of Chain Your Dragon. And that kind of connects to Lindsay's story about how the band slept on their floor or on her floor when they were on the road. And I can't help but think about Chain Your Dragon, like about being on the road, like, the tough times, the great times, how being on the road could be. It's the album doesn't romanticize that, and it's something I often think about, and they're just so honest. Um, but yeah, it's the different worlds they create. Even my friend told me, Ben, told me it's like the song's the planet and the jam's the vehicle you get to the planet. And even like the jams are its own world. And then the lore is its own world. And that's just so cool. And the different mini worlds and everything must go in the technology world of Big Modern. And it really gets you to think. And even more so for me than the Grateful Dead, but some people might like some old school jam band fans might be like, oh no, this young kid with his Goose. Um, but yeah, just I'm so passionate about it. It's incredible. It's like life
I mean,
changing, their music.
I'll say, for just speaking for Mike and I, when we met you at Goosemas, when we were doing the tabling there, it came through immediately, Matthew. And I'm
Yeah,
so glad that you reached out
Yeah.
and brought Lindsay on for this episode so we could hear from you both, because this is awesome to get this perspective.
hearing
Um,
Lin- oh,
sorry, go ahead.
hearing Lindsay's stories too about the street team is just so inspiring to see how these guys kind of came out of like they didn't come out of nowhere, but they like rose to the top and like really quickly. And I think it shows the need for people to have things like this, music like this, to really unify people and really like be together and um like have these like religious moments in a way at a show. And it feels different than Fish and the Grateful Dead, at least for me. But I'm a mega fan. I'm a street teamer, so of course I'm a mega fan. Um, like I have to be a mega fan to go. Um,
Yeah.
but Yeah, it's great. I like obsessed.
It shows.
So yeah,
But it
it's like the,
Yeah,
works.
it
It
works.
works.
Yeah.
I mean, so many
Does.
people have gotten into them. My parents are into them now. My friends' parents are into them. Um, and the fact that I could help introduce people just to listening to music, it's just incredible. Like, like listening to music is such a big part of my life. When I go to my internship, when I do homework in school, when I study on the train, like I listen to Goose, and it's like just part of the daily routine. But it's always something that makes my day so special that it's like sounds so stupid, but it's true. Put on Goose, put on Fish, put on The Dead, put on Eggy. Like it just makes your day.
Yep.
you're talking to a couple of nerds who started a
Yeah,
podcast who like
I
music
yeah
so much. So you're speaking to the
Yeah.
choir here.
yeah.
But there's one thing you said that really got me thinking here, which might lead to a nice question if I can phrase it the right way. But um, you talked about how there is kind of a wide net of fans when it comes to Goose. It seems like a lot of old Deadheads have really gravitated towards Goose, but then you also got like your age, Matthew. You got a lot of Gen Z kids who are
Yep.
falling in love with their first jam band. Um, so can y'all maybe speak to like what it's like trying to promote to a wide net like that? Is it challenging in that way, or is it easy because Goose is so accessible? I'm just curious what that's like, or if that's something you guys think about on a day to day basis.
Well, I've been thinking about this because it's when Fish was up and coming, and especially the Dead up and coming. I mean, marketing and promoting was so different then. You know, there really wasn't a whole lot of social. There was no social media, right? And so now, one of the biggest strategies that we're working on. I sat down with management. We're like, we know how to connect with the jam band community, right? The current jam band community. And I will say that demographically, the majority of fans are male, white, and 30 plus, primarily. It's
Accurate.
it's I'm,
Yeah.
that's just that's yeah that's that's statistics, not an opinion. But our big our biggest like goal is like how do we reach new audience because Goose obviously has is super influenced by the Dead, by Fish, by their hero. They're their
Mhm.
heroes. I always hate it when people like crack on other bands because they sound like this or they're influenced by that. It's like no, those are their heroes. Okay, like that's why they pull from these greats. But it's a different time now, and so our biggest thing that we're trying to figure out is how do we connect with a younger audience? How do we invite more women in to the jam band world? How do we invite more, just different cultures in? So that's what we're really trying to work on now.
I have a
It,
really cool story about that actually.
okay.
So, um, at a show, at the night one show at MSG, I was with my friend, and his mom, and behind us, we got into a conversation with, this one couple. They were younger, and we were talking all about how much we love Goose. And then in front of us was like a mom and her two kids, and then behind us was this one guy named Ernie. And my friend and I became big fans of him. Like we became friends with him, and he was the guy who grew up on the Dead in the '70s. And being able to see like so many different ages at a Goose show was incredible. And when they came out on stage night one, the Knicks thing happened. And they started like teasing the first song. Before Thatch even started, the girl behind me said Thatch. It's gonna be Thatch with like the little bubble noises. And then do. We lost it. Everyone in that area lost it. So just like by that, people, so many different types of people getting obsessed over one song that they opened with is incredible. And then seeing like also my parents when I became a street teamer getting more into Goose, and then also seeing like my friends get into Goose my age, and then like my friend's sister, she knows what Goose is now because I'm friends with because of me, and seeing how many people know them is so cool. Um, but yeah, it just seems like it draws in so many different like age ranges more than the Dead and Fish, and it's really cool.
Yeah, and you both kind of touched on this a little bit here in the last two questions that we asked, but I'm going to ask it a little bit of a different way. Um, what has it been like to be a part of the Goose community overall, and what makes this community different than other bands? I know, Lindsay, you specifically said you had some experience street teaming for other bands. What makes this community different from your point of view?
Well, that's a great question. I mean, I don't know if I could definitively say that I've ever felt a part of another community, in terms of from a music perspective. I'm I'm not an analyst. I don't do what you guys do. I'm so like amazed when I hear I've been listening to some of your shows and I was like, wow, like you guys really know your stuff. Like I don't know the music like that. I just know what my experience, and I've never been I've never had an experience like I've had at a Goose show, and then I've never before at another concert looked around and saw other people experiencing the same thing that I am, and we're all just like, "What is that?" Like I just got chills thinking about an experience at a Goose show, and so e- I think that just the overall appreciation for the talent, the ride, and like we all just walked away. I don't want to say everybody's had the exact same experience because that's not the truth, but like you just walked away feeling different. Like I've never left a concert feeling like that just made me think differently about regular life, so I can't really say about other communities. I know every band, especially in the jam band scene, like they have their crew of followers, and they connect with that artist in a similar way.
How about you,
It
Matthew? How do you feel about being part of the Goose community?
so I when I was a kid, I was really into, or I still am a big gamer. Not as much as I was a kid, but very into Nintendo games in particular. And so many people are into Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, these games. And that's such a big community. Like the Nintendo community is a big community. But when I started to get into Goose, it's much more tight knit and it feels really artistic. One of my majors is art history, actually, and you learn all about these artists who kind of had their communities, right? Like this one guy knew that person, that, and so on. They had their networks, and you learn about how they influenced each other. And Goose kind of feels the same way. Like if you go to enough shows and start listening to Slow Ready or Almost Always There, these podcasts, getting involved in the street team or the Fem Flock, and follow these different accounts, you see like everyone kind of knows each other, and it's really cool. Like, and everyone can share these different ideas, and everyone's accepted. Their ideas are accepted. Like I have crazy ideas about like how the songs connect to each other. And if I tell someone who's like really into Goose, who really likes the Lord, they'll be like, "That's so cool!" Like people, everyone's I find is nice in the Goose community. You don't have any like I haven't really had a bad experience with anyone at a show. Um, Fortunately enough for me. But everyone who's really into Goose is really nice, and I think that starts with the band, how they really demonstrate kindness, and like the fact, even I was talking about it with my mom, and we were saying like, oh my gosh, they were doing a meet and greet on a Thursday like afternoon after work in New York City. They weren't having lines around. Rick was sitting like in the front greeting people, shaking people's hands. Like other bands and other people don't do that like that. And it was funny because the album Big Modern's about the internet, but it's ironic because we were meeting like the community was meeting each other in person, and all the like I don't know if you were at the store or not, but all like the mean comments and the nice comments were on the walls. So it's kind of like the Goose subreddit was coming alive in New York City. at that store on Thursday afternoon, and um, yeah, it just made it feel so communal. I remember taking the subway to the store, coming back from my internship, and I've had a weird feeling that the band was going to be there. It like it like felt it felt right for them to do a meet and greet. They were about to play two nights at the Garden on the night in Central Park, so it was a Goose weekend for New York, and um and I walk up to the store. I'm like, is to the security guard, is this the Goose store? He's like, yeah. And I look behind him and I see a guy with a hat, and he's like, they're in there. I'm like, really? And it walks open, and Rick was standing there. Trevor was nearby. I introduced myself to Trevor first, and I went up to him. I was like, oh, I'm Matthew. Um, and he's like, nice to meet you. I'm like, oh, I'm one of the street teamers. He's like, do you know Lin? I'm like, do you know Lindsay? He's like, oh yeah, of course. Right on, man. And he gave me a pound, and I got to talk to him for a minute, and it was so funny. Like, and then I met Peter. Peter was very nice. I talked to him for a minute, but Cotter I didn't get to meet. I'll meet Cotter eventually. Um, but Rick was very nice, so down to earth. I asked him, I'm like, do you know anyone by the name of Lindsay, the street teamer? Like the street teamer? I'm one of the street teamers. He's like, oh yeah, of course. And that was really cool. I tell people about this story all the time. Um, and they were just so thankful they had a street team. I was very nervous that when I would tell them, "Oh yeah, I'm one of the street teamers," they wouldn't know what that was. But I'm so happy they knew they had a street team, and um, just the fact, you can tell someone who produces this music or creates this music. I think people forget sometimes that this music it's their music. It's very personal to them. Some of these stories they're telling, and we can make jokes about it, but to be able to give like super fans the opportunity to spread the music, almost like spreading the Goose Bowl, right? Um, and spread something that's like tell people about this music and something that's personal to them, to be able to make it personal for other people and make it this bond between the artists, the fans, bringing in new fans. It's really cool. And it's back again, like to the idea of in-person street teaming, doing stuff in person instead of going on your phone and like having your face on your face, to tie it in with their marketing campaign. And like instead, like looking at other people, like going up to them with a flyer at a show. I have a story about a pigeons playing ping pong show, where I went and street teamed, and people loved them. Goose, when I street teamed there, um, and seeing the impact it makes, when you give someone a flyer who already knows the band, or seeing who doesn't know the band. Oh, I'm going to totally check these guys out. And seeing a friend also get into the band as you meet, like when you're a street teamer, it's incredible. Like it's like watching like a transformation. It's like seeing my friends get so into Goose, like they kind of like open up, and they like just are like so much more open to new music, and it's like incredible watching people become mega fans of Goose.
Well, thanks for touching on that, Matthew. I'm a big grassroots fan, and so that was what we based everything off of. I mean, even in 2018, I mean, yeah, social media was there. I think it's even more so a part of everybody's daily lives now. But you can sit and you can scroll and you can
Hmm.
scroll and scroll, and people sharing things, sharing. It's just it's so impersonal, but it's
Yeah,
important. I don't want to knock social
yeah,
media strategy. I really don't, but like we really um we really emphasize like somebody coming up and having a genuine conversation with their excitement and their not just like handing out here's a some I, I went to New York New York City for the first time for MSG. What was that, last year? Is that their first?
2025.
Mm-hmm.
See, I'm not an analyst, but I had never been to New York City before. And it was overwhelming, right? Like there are people like trying to offer you, sell you things, hand you things, and like somebody handing me just a flyer and like walking away, like it's probably gonna end up on the ground, right? But like just having a genuine connection with a person, saying, "Hey, like let me tell you about this exciting thing that I can't keep it in my body. I need to tell you about this band Goose. And like that's really what this whole team has been built off of, is that genuine in-person connection in a world that is increasingly more online.
Yeah. Like
Big
I have to,
modern.
yeah, I have to say too, Big Modern scared me actually. Like it worked. Like I like kind of tried to, or I like when I go to work, like I have a thing called Brick, and it like blocks your Instagram off, and like I started doing that after I started like listening to Big Modern and really like learning about like or like really connecting that to social media, the doom scrolling presented in especially the first couple songs in the album with Big Modern and Scavenger. That made me think a lot. And it's really funny because the Street Team, it's like kind of the opposite of the album. Like the album's about being hyper connected, like in Good to Be, and having your mind consumed by media. But Street Teaming is the polar opposite. Like it is about making connections with people. It's about community building. And of course, like Goose, like really during the pandemic, went on social media and they really, really leaned into nugs. They really leaned into the internet. But people now after the pandemic, they want to be in person. They want to have human connection. And I think, and that's why I think street teaming is so important. Being an like a ambassador and being able to tell someone, yeah, I'm like a volunteer representative of this band, and I want to tell you all about it and why it had such an impact on me, and why why if you're at a Pigeons Playing Ping Pong show, you should also love Goose too, or if you're at a Fish show, you should give Goose a chance. Like I was also listening to a podcast, I think, or a radio show, and like Cotter said, talked about how like jam band fans are like obsessed with their jam band, like a sports team or something. And the jam band genre as a whole is pretty tight knit, so I think it all kind of like overlaps. And I think people should just stop like making fun of each other for being like, oh, your Fish is so much better than Goose. Goose is so much better than Fish. The Grateful Dead's like the grandfather of all jam bands. Like the whole jam band community, they really all are influenced by each other. The Grateful Dead, like of course, kind of started it, but they're all influenced by each other. There's kind of a conversation going on right now between Goose, Eggy, Pigeons, Fish, and that's really cool to see. Um, Being able to listen to like other jam bands and seeing, oh, that kind of sounds similar to that, or that theme in the lyric kind of lines up with that, and that's really interesting too for me. I listen to a lot of Eggy as well. Like Goose, I was top 500 last year on Apple Music, um, which was pretty cool. But Eggy is great. Like I love all these other bands too, but all like Goose is like core for me.
I like how you brought up. I mean, just like I, I think it's crazy the hate that fans have across bands. Like I don't get it. I don't understand it. I don't know why there's this weird feeling or like presentation amongst fans. Like they'll talk shit about this other band and their group of fans, but like reality is Goose and Fish are they're hanging out. Like
Right,
they're like they appreciate each other. Like we got
Hmm.
Dave over here, Dave Matthews, like pulling them along. They're,
right,
they're like like they appreciate each other's music. Like there's no hate between the bands. Like
right.
why is there hate between I've never understood it. And like I don't know, you just gotta ignore the hate. I guess. I mean,
Even
I
with
think
their
it's just a vocal minority, honestly, online.
yeah,
I really do. Because I thought the exact same thing as you just said, Lindsay, as Matthew was saying that. It's just the bands all like each other. They all listen to each other's music. Like there's no hate, no love lost between anybody. So um yeah, I think that's totally right. I think just like everything else in the world, vocal minority online makes it seem like a way bigger thing than it actually is.
I
yeah,
also
for
think
sure.
too, like that moment at my first Goose show at Playing in the Sand when Bobby came out on stage with Rick and played Peggy-O, that was like incredible. Like I'll never forget that. And that was like a passing the torch moment too, from the Grateful Dead to Goose. And that was also an ode to the Grateful Dead from Rick and from Goose. So it was kind of both directions. And then when Goose sold out Madison Square Garden in 2025, that was really like, I think, Fish passing down the torch to Goose. Or even they both have, they both have the the like the proudness of selling out Madison Square Garden, and Goose could be just as important as Fish in the MSG jam band scene. And there's something great about that, and it reminds me of the different artists, throughout art history influencing each other, and of course in music history too. But you really see it with the jam band genre, and you see it with Goose especially.
What I think is crazy about the jam band genre is that, like, fans put like a hierarchy on things. In any other genre you're looking at, you don't have somebody saying it's like, oh well, like it's the Dead, then Fish, then X, then Y, and then whatever. Like, no, there's multiple really famous rappers. There's multiple really famous pop stars, pop band. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a hierarchy like that. I don't get it. What do you analysts? What do you guys think?
I think with jam band fans that we're just like really extremely nerdy about music, and that tends to lend itself to people thinking that their opinions are the opinion. I don't feel that way because I listen to all the jam band. I listened to Fish yesterday all day long. I went to see Eggy 2 weeks ago. I've got lots of Goose coming up, lots of King Gizzard coming up. Like I don't really believe in it. I see it kind of the way you guys do. I don't understand why anyone would spend so much time hating on someone else's favorite band. I think there's room for everyone, and I love most every jam band out there, at least to some degree, because I just like the genre so much. But I do think that for whatever reason, it does lead to like a sort of like tribalism and like sports competitive type mindset in a lot of people that inevitably goes sour and into some negative directions that I'm not a fan of, that you'll see play out on Reddit, for example, routinely.
I was just
All the
going to
time.
say the community aspect, we talked about how great it is. Everyone, it's a lot of love. Reddit's like the one exception for me at least.
Yeah.
But yeah, like Mike
Yeah.
said it well. Like, we go to all the jam band shows. We just are very passionate about Goose, and this is what we choose to like
Yeah.
do our expression of love in the jam band scene, is talking about Goose and geeking out about them because they're our favorite. But like, I'm gonna go see Fish in Atlantic City. They just announced it today as we're recording. Like, I'm gonna try to go to all 3 nights if I can, at least 2. And then gonna see Goose in the same venue a couple of months later. So like,
Yeah.
saw Eggy in Atlantic City a few months ago. Like, we go to all the shows. Pigeons.
Yeah.
I was seeing Fish when I was like Matthew's age. I saw them kind of late in the game, relatively speaking, and I fell in
Dogs
love
in a
with
pile.
it.
Shout them
Yeah.
out. I love them.
Yeah, Dogs in
Yeah.
a Pile. They're our local guys here in Jersey too. Mike and I obviously met each other through Dave Matthews, like, and that was a big part of our life for a while, and now we're much more on the jam side of things than the Dave side of things, but still got a lot of love for that scene. So, yeah, there's a lot of love all around, and I think what you guys are doing with the street team, from what I've seen, is and going to all these different shows and trying to pull in a little bit of love from each little tribalistic set of fans in their little bubble is pretty cool.
Well,
Definitely.
I mean, speaking of festivals, I mean, I've never seen Dave. I'm so excited to see Dave for the first time at Bourbon and Beyond, and I'm really hoping to bring some of Peach Magic. Not that it was the same show, it's not the same venue, it's not the same artist, but I'm really, really hoping to, um, and we'll never recreate Peach. Like, let me just throw that back. I know I sent you guys some pictures. There's a picture of the team. We all got, actually, it was before we started promoting. So, what we did at Peach in 2019 was I had a group of like at least 10, maybe 12 people, hardcore Goose fans, brought the energy of Matthew. And we went to Scranton, Pennsylvania, which I didn't know was a real place until we went to Peach. I thought that was, just the office. Like, I was like, what's Scranton, Pennsylvania? I was like, but it's beautiful out there. Montage Mountain was
Oh, my dad's been to
probably
that
my
festival.
favorite.
I think he went. Was that? I think he could have been there in
I'd
2019.
lo-
Actually,
I'd love to talk to your dad, Matthew. I mean, I love talking to you too, but like, I'm like,
yeah, he's been to so
and
many
just
dead
like,
shows.
well, side note, I love to see like, the music, you know, being transferred like to from son to or from dad to son.
Yeah,
Like, I think that's incredible. Like, that doesn't I don't really feel like happens a whole lot in other genres, you know what I mean?
no, it
Like,
doesn't.
but anyway, so we're in Scranton, Pennsylvania, and we saw an opportunity with Goose because, I mean, their multicam on that set, like, really, if they didn't have that, nobody would know, like, the gravity of that set.
Yeah.
But, and it was a Saturday show. I'm pretty sure it was Saturday. Pretty sure they played Saturday, and they were playing on the tiniest stage, the Grove stage. I mean, it was cute. It was tiny, super tiny, and we had a team of like 10 to 12 people, and we just littered. Like, we all broke off into sections. We littered every porta potty. We littered. I don't want to say actually littered. Like, we're very environmentally friendly as best as we can when we're passing out like flyers and handbills and stuff. But like, I mean, we divided and conquered. Like, we sent people all across this festival, into the festival grounds, into the different stages, and we would like focus on different sets. We were like, well, maybe this artist, they might not be a jam band, but like, we'll like, let's go pull some of these people. And so we had the most energetic crew of people, and we just like ran with it. My then boyfriend, now husband, he had like their festival, like their tour lineup like taped to his back. It was like like he was like it was just funny. Like, we were just having a lot of fun, and I'm pretty sure it broke a record at that Grove stage. Like, we worked it, and it was so much so, like, after the set, which was incredible, that Arcadia, I will never forget that Arcadia. I will never forget. I mean, there's been great Arcadias, but like that one was different. And it was different because the boys knew on stage that this set was different. Like, this, like, they knew in the moment. I'm getting chills thinking about it. Here we go. You could tell, listening and watching them on stage, that they knew this was different. First of all, they had never played in front of a crowd that big before in their life. Pretty sure it broke a record at the festival for the amount of people. I mean, I think I sent a picture to you guys, but there's a photo of the crowd, and I mean, the crowd is like hovering like so deep, like back by the, like, people are like standing next to porta potties just to like see the show, like, which is not really normal at a festival. And gosh, that energy, it was incredible, and they played the best set they had ever played. And afterwards, they came up to us and they were like, still trying to like catch their breaths, and they were like, "Oh my gosh, you guys fucking crushed it! Like, we're getting all this feedback from like the like other bands. They were like, your team like did it. Not to like flex, but I'm gonna flex on that. Like, our team really crushed it to get all of those people, at that stage. It sent it through the roof. But their recording of it was incredible. And a lot of times people are like, why was he sitting down the whole time? That was the thing that like everybody in the crowd at like while we're watching it, they were like, why is he sitting? Like, is he too cool to like, they were talking shit, and I was like, shut the fuck up. Like, he hurt him, like, he's hurt, like, he's just gonna sit, like, he hurt his knee. I forget what it was, um but yeah, they went from this tiny little band on the set list. If you're looking at like the lineup, right? Lineups kind of political in ways, like where this band is placed. It's political in ways, and so I think the next year they were at the top. They went from at the bottom. If we were to pull up from 2020, it didn't happen, but like 2021, maybe 21. 20, I don't know, analysts, if you want to like throw your 2 cents in, but they went from like 2019 bottom of the barrel, and then to like whoop, right up top the next time they played. It was nuts. And like, that's the magic of festivals, I think, because everybody comes to I haven't been in a long time. I got most of that out in my 20s. Um, but like the magic of festivals is that you can reach so many different people. Um, and everybody just wants to like listen to music and have a good time. People are so open to like your suggestion. So like that's what really worked is that we would have people like going out and having conversations with people. We were just handing out flyers. We were handing out a flyer, but also being like, look, this is why you need to come check out this band. Like, and so like that collective energy, like it's like Matthew's energy on the show right here times 12. And then we just like sent him into the freaking forest and said, go. And like, I mean, that's what drew that crowd and it worked.
Did
And so
they opened up with Mudhooven on that show?
Madhavan, yeah.
Mudhooven. Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know. I'm not an analyst. Analyst, what do you got?
Oh my god, I'm embarrassed that I don't know this actually off the top of my dome. I'm getting old. So
You're getting old. Like, how do you? I'm just impressed that you can like retain all that information. I'm like, I don't freaking. Half the time, I'm like, I don't even know what song it is, but I'm just like,
I'm looking
I
it
think
up
my
right
mind's just
now.
blown that's like by far the most important set that they've ever played,
Mhm.
and you played such a huge role in the most important set they've ever played. So yeah, I had goosebumps, and I wasn't even at Peach Fest. I just watched that show like I don't know how many times, and that Arcadia
Yeah.
specifically like 150 times.
Mhm.
So yeah, I got goosebumps listening to you tell the tale of it and how that crowd came to be.
Yeah.
well, and it
So
was a collective. Like, I mean, it's one thing to get people there, right? But like, what they really did was they were looking at the whole picture. They were looking at like it's more than just having all of these potential fans in the audience. It was also like, well, how are we going to record all of this so that we can share this experience going forward? And how do we like as a team? It was way big picture. And then you throw
Yeah.
in that Arcadia and that crazy set, and then on top of that, like they started, which really sucked. But they started. I forget if it was a mic issue or something or an amp issue, but there was a point where like I don't think you could hear Peter. Correct me if I'm wrong, but like there was like a moment it was like really shitty audio. It was real bad, and then they were able to correct it, but it was like the first set. So they imagine playing in a sea of people. I don't want to say I don't. I mean I don't even want to know. It felt like thousands, but I don't know if it was that much. But like it was a huge group of people, and they've never played in front of that big of of a audience. You know, their mics, like their equipment's faltering, and like there's all these things, but like it took big picture thinking for Peach to really get to where it was, and then you know it was just like we just encourage everybody share, 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 share.
So as I vamp here real quick, because for whatever reason I cannot get this pulled up. Your marketing
Madhavan
really
opener.
worked. It is Madhavan. Okay, good, Mike.
Yes.
I cannot get this to work on my computer for some reason. The funny story, my friend Randy, she saw Goose at Peach that for the first time. So I'm going to ask her if she saw one of the flyers or whatever, and that got her to go. Because she kept trying to push Goose on me after that. She's like, you got to listen to this band. And I was like, a band named Goose? What a dumb name. Meanwhile, I'm listening to Fish. Like, I'm like, oh my God, like, why would I listen to that? And then she finally shoved that Arcadia in my face with Alive and Well. And I was like, all right, this is something special. I can't believe I doubted you. So y'all did great, Lindsay. You hooked Randy. I'm convinced. I'm gonna ask her for sure, but I'm convinced it was you.
Please like text or email me and let me know what they say, because
Yeah.
that Arcadia for a long time was the go-to show that I would say, hey, you know, listen to this. And I mean, I think it was like 12 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was like
short.
it was short. Yeah, it was short. It was short enough that
Yeah.
was like digestible for like somebody who was like completely overwhelmed with something over 3 minutes. Like, I mean, I know attention spans today are very limited, but like that Arcadia, I mean, I don't know what it was, but like Rick, it was like he knew in that moment, like this he's done, and he always does. So let me backtrack and say, like, they play every show with their, you know, they play the best that they can play every show. And but this one was, it was just different. It was different. It was insane. And yeah, I can't wait to hear what she says, or that what your friend says, I should say.
Yeah, Randy, she's the best. So I'll text her as soon as we're done recording, and I'll let you know, Lindsay. But
Okay.
you said it perfectly well. I think of like all the quote unquote like standard, like you're playing Arcadia in the Encore, you only have a certain amount of time versions. That's gonna forever be like the holy grail of like perfect ones, and a lot of it has to do with that energy you're talking about that y'all brought. So I'm gonna give you all the credit again on that. Major props. Street Team brought the Arcadia that we all love to the world.
You know,
I'll challenge that. Like, the band brought it, and we just wanted the world. We wanted as many people to get in front of that stage as we could. We had no idea what they were going to play. We didn't. We they don't. Half the time they just kind of wing it. Like, they just. I mean, it's not necessarily like a super like always planned out like experience when they're like planning their sets. Like, but we just said, I remember looking at Rick back in 2018, and I forget who we were watching. We were watching another show in Covington. I think they had just played, and I was like, I looked at him and I was like, if you like if you come to play, I'll bring the people. And he was like, all right.
There you
Amazing.
go. I mean, yeah, I just don't think they'd get a version that kick ass without that energy surge, Lindsay. I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. But it is the magic of the band feeding off the energy, and y'all bring in more fans and bring in more energy. It's just like a cool cycle. Um,
Yeah, I'd love to bring that. Or is anybody going to Bourbon and Beyond?
can't make it this year. I
Unfortunately,
wish.
no. Even though the lineup is insane.
It's
Insane.
nuts. I'm kind of overwhelmed looking at it. I mean, you've got hitters from, I mean, so many different genres. I look back at it and I'm like, they're gonna be there. Like, I'm a lover of all genres. I really am.
Yeah.
I never really grew up on jam um, until I stumbled across. I mean, Goose, or just different festivals that I'd gone to in the past. But like, this festival lineup is nuts.
Oh
Absolutely
yeah.
nuts. And that's why I'm so excited about it, because like I said earlier, like, people come to festivals and they're open. They want to see music. They're like, it's a little bit of freedom. And festivals are my favorite place to promote because of that. Because people come in kind of like open. It's like, yeah, you want to go check out this set? Sure, let's go over there. Like, let's wander here. Let's do that. So when you've got, the energy of somebody who's like, hey, let me tell you about this band, like, let's go do it. I wish they weren't playing on Thursday, only because it doesn't give us a whole lot of time to like infiltrate the camps and whatnot. But like, I'm super excited to promote. And if anybody listening is coming to Bourbon and Beyond, hit me up. I've got a lot of like promotional materials that I'm bringing, and um, yeah, I want to help it. I want to make it legendary.
Hell yeah. I mean,
Heck
I'm
yeah.
looking at the lineup now. Like, Thursday's like a dream lineup for me, honestly. Love all those bands at the top of the lineup. Wow.
it would be
Um,
so cool if they did in 2029. So the Peach Festival show was 2019, right? In 2029, so 10 years later, they should do like an anniversary show for the Peach Festival and play the same set list. And I think that would be so cool because Dead and Company did something like that for Cornell 77. And since that was a big landmark Goose show, I think they like if they did that in like an outdoor venue like Forest Hills, and that like was the first set, um, and then they kept on playing. I think that would be really cool. But yeah, like hearing more and more about the Peach Festival, it's really cool. And now watching them sell out Madison Square Garden, it's incredible. Like soon they'll be selling out Citi Field. Um, but I think also like the music, like this is really like spiritual, but there's like the band, and then there's the fans, and then there's the music, and the music like really feeds off of like all that like energy in the room, like all like, like the excitement, and it really comes through in the music. And it came through at in 2025 at the Garden with the factory opener, and with the Arcadia closer, and with the Peach Festival when I listened to that show on Nugs.
The fact that I mean, their milestones are nuts. Like, we had never, I mean, my husband and I were like, if they ever announce they're going to Red Rocks, we're going to Red Rocks. Like, we're never been before, we're gonna go, and we did. And then it was MSG, and it was just like, I mean, there's so many other amazing like venues and spots that they played, um, and like I just get like chills. Like I remember being, in that room of like 20 people, like the most intimate setting ever, and they're blowing our minds. And like looking around, everybody's kind of like looking at each other the same. And then now it's just like seeing the progression from, like these super tiny, 200 people venues to like Madison Square Garden. Like it's insane. And then let's talk about Europe, Matthew.
Yeah, yeah. So last semester
Mhm.
I was studying abroad in Paris. I did a French immersion program, so I got really good at French, and I decided to put some of my street teaming skills to the test. So I have two really cool stories about street teaming in Paris. Um, One, I became friends with a cafe owner in the 14th arrondissement, and he let me hand out some Goose flyers in his cafe, and that was really fun. But I've one really cool story. So I've made a lot of French friends, and I was out for dinner with with a couple French people I became friends with, and I brought some Goose flyers as I usually do, and I gave one of them to this one guy, and he points at the flyer, he points at Trevor, he's like, "Is this you?" And I'm like, "No, no." And then I told Lindsay after she told me, "Oh, you should have said that was you. You should go along with it." So next time someone confuses me for Trevor, I will definitely go along with it. Um,
I'm sure
um,
Trevor will be okay with it, dude,
yeah,
because
I'm
you're the
sure.
man.
I'm sure.
He'll be like, okay.
Yeah. Um, that was so funny though. And everyone in my study abroad cohort, it was a small like 30-person cohort. They all knew Goose. There was one guy too who was very into music. Um, he he actually listened to some Lettuce, and there's this other group called, I think it's called like Wolfpack. Um,
Voltec. Yep,
Wolfpack,
Voltec.
Mhm.
yeah. I listened to some of them. He's very into that, and you can see how that kind of Goose and Lettuce and that band kind of all feed off each other. Um, and a lot of these bands kind of came from like playing in the sand and Dead Ahead, which my dad went. My dad and I went the 2 years after Pitt's 2023, so we went to the Dead Aheads, and I learned a lot. Listened to Lettuce or Rebelo, and all these different, or like just different groups. And yeah, it's really cool seeing, or like when someone else listens to like Mount Joy or something that's now adjacent with Goose. That's awesome too.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you know how to like, for lack of a better word, like worm your way into any fan of anything and
Ever,
relate it to Goose in the best possible way.
yeah.
And I love that energy, man.
It's funny because usually, like, if I get to know someone, I'll usually, "Oh, what type of music do you listen to?" They're like, "Oh, I don't know everything." I'm like, "Have you heard of Goose?" They're like, "No," or like, "Yeah, maybe Geese." I'm like, "No, not Geese, Goose." Um, uh, and it's really funny. They might have heard of Goose, but I'll always tell people, "Oh yeah, I'm a street teamer for the band. Like, I'm a volunteer for them, and let me send you my intro playlist." So I have an intro playlist. I'll change it sometimes, and it has "Good to Be" on it, and it has a couple of songs. I try not to overdo it, but even sending that playlist, and I'll say, give it a listen. Tell me what you like, and if they like one song, I'll send them other songs in similar genres that Goose play. So like if it's a pop song like "Good to Be," maybe I'll send them "Echo of a Rose." or they all, it's so cool because they cover like most jam bands, but Goose especially really covers, like, they're genreless, like, and that really comes across too. That came across when I was in Paris talking about Goose. I traveled a lot. I went to Oslo and I became friends with this one guy in a hostel, and that's when the remix for Everything Must Go came out. And I got into a conversation about music, and he said he was really into house music, and I wasn't too familiar, but he said it was like EDM, and I sent him I showed him the remix of Everything Must Go. He's like, this is really good, and that's another influence too, like the EDM, like that's not talked about
Yeah.
enough. Like that's like in even like I think it was like at Goosmith's Marb House or something. Like that's a big influence from them, and you hear that at the beginning of Factory Fiction too, like that the EDM is like that's like new. That's like kind of like the drums in space with the Grateful Dead, but now they're putting their own twist on it and making it like technology. They're modernizing it like Big Modern, and that's really cool to see as well. But yeah, and I just left Europe when they started their Europe tour, but hopefully they go back and do another Europe tour.
Oh man.
Yeah.
Yeah, just missed them. That sucks.
Yeah, it sucks. I asked my parents. I'm like, my parents visited me at the end and we hung out in Paris for a bit. I'm like, can we stay an extra week and go to London? They're like, no, you're seeing them at Madison Square Garden and you're going to see them so many more times, Matthew. You're seeing so many concerts already. But one thing that's great about having cool parents who are into music is they totally get it. Like my dad's like I said, big Deadhead. My mom was into like Duran Duran as a kid, and she grew up in the 80s, and she and my mom, my dad, and my sister really get it. Like they really get what it's like being into music, and like like I don't have to explain what Goose is to my parents. When I explain what Goose is to other people, and they're like, why are you obsessed with it? I'm like, just listen to it, and they're like, oh yeah, I totally get it.
I just want to give the biggest shout out to Matthew's mom.
Yeah.
Because I'm not like I'm contracted by the band now for the majority of the last 8 years. I just did this. I just did this for free. Now they're like, I get a very like a little, they pay me a little bit, nothing crazy. But that's not why I do it. But I want to give a shout out specifically to Matthew's mom because, because I'm contracted, a lot of this stuff as a street team coordinator, I got to figure out myself. And so I've got the artwork, the marketing team like does an incredible job with all of their materials. And so I really had to figure out a way, how am I going to get all of these fucking materials? How am I going to get these materials to Europe? Like, how am I going to do that? You can't just, you could ship it, but the cost of that is astronomical. And so I was like, Matthew, can I just like Venmo you money so you can figure out and like read, in French?
Yeah,
like,
I had to get through that.
We found this little
French. Yeah.
Tell them about. It's not it's not a crazy story, but like just navigating like how do we get these materials printed?
So I lived in the 14th arrondissement, which is the bottommost district of Paris, and that's known to be very local. It's not very touristy, but there's everything there, and everything you'll need to live is in the 14th. And I took a tram. There's a tram in that area, right from where I lived to the next stop was like outside of a print shop, and I started talking to the guy in French, and I told him a little about Goose, and he's like, "Oh yeah, you want to print these?" I'm like, "Yeah, sure." I'm like, "These are to hand out." And the thing about Paris is it's not like New York. New York you can go up to people with flyers in New York and hand them out. You can go into Washington Square Park. Paris, it's much different. France is a much different culture than the United States. It's, you might be seen like as a scammer if you go up to someone with a flyer, because that's more common there. So I had to come up with a creative way. Like it was very at the very end of my study abroad program to street team, and so I used like some of the networks around where I would go study at that cafe, or just some friends to tell to be like, you got to hear about this band. Um, but it was really cool, like promoting a really like for Europe niche, but the United States, and they sold out Madison Square Garden. So band in Europe, and that was really cool. And yeah, my parents are very proud of my street teaming, though.
I want to meet your parents, Matthew. I
Yeah,
really do.
yeah, they're. I'm like, I always talk about, oh yeah, my manager. I tell people I have a manager, and they're like, I'm like, yeah, she's like, I'm like, she runs the whole street team, and it's really cool. Um, and yeah, it's just such a great experience being able to talk about the music to so many people, and being able to talk about it and describe it in another language. I had to kind of figure it out. I had to learn the vocab. I only started learning French 2 years ago, and I'm getting pretty good. Um, and that was like part of it, like really learning how to describe like a jam band in French or in a different language really, it was pretty cool.
Can you um just like like give an example of what you would say in French, like
Uh,
to try to.
Est-ce que tu connais la groupe Goose des États-Unis? Do you know the band Goose from the United States? Um, and your French doesn't have to be perfect, or it kind so your French doesn't have to be perfect to be able to describe a point. And once um, I I accepted that, I started speaking really well, and I learned how to draw the semester before that. And my drawing teacher, and it actually ties back into Goose. I was listening to a lot of Goose while drawing. He's like, you don't have to get the drawing. You shouldn't get bogged down in one part of the drawing. You need to get the drawing right as a whole. And that really stuck with me. And I apply that to my language learning, to my street teaming. I apply that all the time. But I think Goose is a perfect example of now musicians really applying that. Like you don't have to get, you know, I'm sure they make mistakes on stage and they just keep on playing. It sounds good. It sounds good as a whole. It looks good. Maybe they sometimes talk about, maybe on a radio show or a podcast, how they're like, oh, we didn't like this one thing, but the fans loved it. And that's so interesting too. If the fans love something and they don't like something, so it sounds good. They're like creating something. Or if they love something, but the fans didn't like it, that's interesting too, to me. But they really do a good job of getting the jams like right as a whole, like getting the memorability of them. Not every jam's perfect, but if it's right as a whole, it's really good. And people won't remember the specific notes; they'll remember the jam. They'll remember how the song transitioned into the jam, and so on and so forth. And when you can tell a story in a show like that and not get worried about what, not get worried about like individual notes and individual phrases and ideas, then you have a great show. And I think that really encapsulates the music. And sorry to talk about Chain Your Dragon too. Chain Your Dragon's all about being on tour, and like I said at the beginning, like it's about the different emotions characters like Royal might face, and how at the end you kind of just have to brush it off. I don't mind. That's my favorite Goose line. And they repeat it throughout different songs. Lead Up, Good Times, End Times, Factory Fiction, of course. I think the line "I don't mind" really encapsulates Goose. And Factory Fiction for me should be Goose's tagline song that they never play. Um, uh, but Factory Fiction, I think, really, now this is off topic, but that really encapsulates Goose to me. That idea of, it doesn't have to be perfect. You just need to shake it off. And if it sounds good and if it looks good, that means it's good in a performance. And if the crowd is happy, you have to give yourself a pat on the back too. Or if someone's looking at an artwork and that person says it's good, you have to, and if you don't think it's good, well, you have to give yourself a pat on the back. Like, um, so yeah, I think that's kind of philosophical, but I think that's another reason why I specifically connect to the music. And I
I
studied.
don't think you were off topic at all.
Okay,
No.
yeah, I'm nervous. I'm droning on because sometimes when I get talk
No.
about something I'm really passionate about, I might drone on a little. But, um, but yeah, and speaking about their albums now, I go back and forth between if I like Chain Your Dragon or Big Modern better, and I also love everything. I love all the albums differently, but I just saw Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey, and I was thinking about it after, like, okay, Goose. I was thinking about Goose actually, um, a bit after the movie. I'm like, oh, they made this modern album about modern everyday life, and they did Chain Your Dragon, which is a bit more mythical, but a little less connected than Big Modern. I hope for the next album. I have like so many ideas for what their next album could be. It's like ridiculous. Um, but I hope they do something like the Odyssey, like something just a big epic, like they can throw the song "Creatures" in there and have all the creatures, Seekers on the Ridge, Western Sun. I also had the idea that I posted this on my fan account. I was like, oh, they have so many songs about the ocean. What if they made an album about the ocean and called it like Your Ocean, and it was Your Ocean, The Old Man's Boat, This Old Sea, and all those songs. Those are like part of the same idea. I hope they do that next, and like, and I'm excited to see what they have up their sleeves right now. And I hope all the songs that we know get a recording. I think Creatures really deserves a studio recording. Um, I think One In
Does.
One Out. I was listening to the new version in quotes that they haven't played since like April, um, and I hope that gets a recording. I had a feeling at Goosemiss when the second set night two when they played all those songs. Thatch, Hot. I forgot the exact order, but like Thatch, like Hot Tea. The only one that wasn't recorded was Big Modern, and I knew Big Modern was going to be the next album, or was going to be the name of the next album, or on the next album, and I think a beautiful name for a new album would be Your Ocean or A Western Sun. I could totally see them doing something like more like an epic, like a neoclassical painting or something. Because they did the modern stuff now. They got to go. They got to do something like a crazy epic, like a story. Because that is Chain Your Dragon, but it's not as connected as it could be as a new album, a new like story concept album. Because Big Modern and Chain Your Dragon are both concept albums, but one's a story, one's more concept and theme. Speaking of Big Modern, that reminded me of Dark Side of the Moon too, with the modernism. Um, because Dark Side of the Moon talks about that too. I watched a video on Dark Side of the Moon about how it's about modernism, and Big Modern, of course, is about modernism. And I listened to it on my commute in the city, Big Modern, and when you're walking by people listening, and you're listening to Scavenger, and just people sitting on their phones, like you're just a pawn in the palm of my hand. That's so freaky. Going on like the
It.
subway and listening to
Yeah.
that song, so scary. Um, and yeah, it really makes
Please
you
send me your
think.
fan account. I
I
need
am.
I
access
was
to
gonna
these
say
thoughts.
I gotta start following
gonna
this.
I'm gonna post more. I'm gonna post more. Um,
Well, I
but
will say, like, first of all, can we just give a huge shout out to the Western Sun Foundation?
yes, yeah,
Some of my closest friends, e- especially, well, I wish I would see them more, but Angela, Lindsay, and Sarah B, like they're crushing it out there. But I wanted to say, like, I'm always chasing creatures. That's always been my favorite. It was in, I sent you guys that screenshot of a set list that I got in 2018. Um,
hmm
Yeah.
I'm always chasing creatures. What songs are you guys chasing?
Um, just real quick, we'll share all these photos that you shared with us, Lindsay, on the show doc. So I'll put together like a Google Drive with the folder with all of them, so you can see all these amazing pictures that Lindsay sent us that we keep referencing because they rule.
They're crazy.
I could send you guys
I've
too
never
of some
seen.
stuff I have.
Yeah, please do, Matthew. Yeah, we'd
Yeah,
love that. So we'll do both of y'all's pictures in the same folder. In terms of songs we're chasing, gosh, I'm forever chasing Mississippi Half Step apparently, and I don't know what Mike. What are you chasing?
Well, she said she's always chasing creatures, so like I'm guessing like that's like your favorite song. So like I mean, if we're going off of that, then I'm always chasing Thatch and Madhavan, which I've gotten multiple times, but I want them at every show. Um, as far as like anything that's like left for me to get, I'm always jealous when Alex gets Your Eyes, that cover. I think I'm at the point now where I've heard all the Goose songs that I want to hear. It's mostly just covers that I'm chasing at this point. Like Electric Avenue is one that I really want to hear at some point. I keep missing them by like one show, but I think Goose
You
Originals
haven't
I'm
seen
like mostly
Electric
all
Avenue
set.
yet?
Time to Flee. Time to
Oh,
Flee is the
That's
only Goose
yeah.
song I can think of that I'm like really needing.
that was another thing that we did. That little, you guys remember the little alligator? See you later, alligator.
Mm-hmm.
We
Yes.
did that.
Yes.
But yeah, like I
Love that.
think their covers are so intentional and they're so thought
Yes.
through. But at least on the other end of hearing it, because I'm like, their covers are incredible. It's like it's taking a cover to another level. But then once you hear like you want to hear it again. I mean, I didn't give a shit about Kylie Minogue, but like here we go. Like I would love to hear
Yeah.
that. Again, Electric Avenue is one of my favorites
Oh,
that I've heard live.
one of the songs that I got into from Goose was Wild Mountain Time, and that opened me up into bluegrass. And I listened to this one group called Nefesh Mountain. They combined bluegrass and like some Jewish music, and they have a Wild Mountain Time cover, and that's a great song. I hope they play that more. Um, uh, but their covers, yeah. So I mean, I hope they do an Eyes of the World cover. I'd love to hear Rick on that. They did, they have a video. I saw a video with this group called Chowda. I don't know if you saw
Mm-hmm.
that. They played Eyes of
Yes.
the World, I
Yeah.
think, and then they played Butter Rum. Can we get Rick on Eyes of the World? Please, it's so goose that
Yeah.
song. Um, like I don't want to ask the band of things because I feel like the best that's best for the band is what the band gives to us because right it's like their music that we're being welcomed
Yeah.
into their world, but that would be so cool. So um like my so um yeah, just the covers are great. I hope they do some cool covers at Goosemiths.
Oh, you know they're gonna bring them.
They're good.
You know they will.
I'm confused about the theme. Can we talk about
Oh
their
my
theme?
gosh,
Like
I have a theory for that
the
too.
vagueness. I'm like, okay, is it a Speedway or 7-Eleven wherever you're out in the country? Like what is this? Like it's like the thank you bag.
Mm-hmm.
Well, what do you guys think?
So
It's obviously takeout food, right? Like it's just the theme's gonna be takeout.
that would
No,
be
I have
I
no
liked what
idea.
someone said going shopping, like
Mm-hmm.
materialism,
yeah.
like which would tie in with Big Modern. That's my best guess. But I mean, if you think about last year, I didn't know the theme until like 3 days before we were about to fly out. Like it was like I was already packed for Providence by the time we found out the theme. Like it's kind of crazy late last year. So I'm hoping they announce it earlier so I have time to plan costumes because that was the best part about going to Hampton Goosemiths a few years ago is we knew it was Goosemiths in space for such a long time that like everyone in my crew was wearing space outfits and NASA hoodies and the whole works. So I think it's fun if everyone can get in on the theme.
I put on my Goose on the Go Instagram. Um, for anyone who wants to follow, it's Goose on the Go underscore, all one word, and the logo
I'm
looks
there.
like oh, okay, perfect. Um, the logo is like a goose mitten that my friend got me for we did a gift exchange for Hanukkah, and we or my so after seeing that flyer, I didn't connect it to the takeout bag right away, but I saw the white and red, and it reminded me of a lifeguard. So I was thinking it was going to be like an ocean, but the consumerism theme is much more on point for Big Modern. Um, but yeah, that whatever they do is going to be so cool.
Yep.
Lindsay, what do you think? What do you think it's gonna be?
I have no idea. I gave up trying to guess a long time ago. They're so good at like, gosh, they think outside the box all the time. whether it's, like what's their next move, they're always 5 steps ahead of everybody. And I think that's what makes
Yeah.
really like can highlight like how they got successful from what they did. Like, I mean, street teaming, like, yeah, like it definitely helped get them on the map. But they're always 5 steps ahead. They're 5 steps ahead with what they're recording, what they're writing. I mean, and they kind of keep me in the dark. Like they don't tell me everything.
Yeah.
And I think it's. I mean that still builds the excitement for me and for the team. But I couldn't even guess. I couldn't even guess.
Um, that kind of makes me think of another tangent. Sorry, we're kind of bouncing around, but we're just having so much fun chatting.
Yeah.
The big modern like guerrilla marketing with the spray
Oh,
painting on the
so cool.
sidewalks and all the posters. Can you talk about that, and like if stuff from that even went like unnoticed that people didn't see, or like what was the process like for that?
Well, I will say they have an incredible marketing team, and even though a lot of what we're doing is marketing, they have their own like super engine of creative people. And um, I really don't know. I don't want to like speak out of my ass and like say something
Yeah.
like that's not true. Um, but they are. I mean, they're constantly thinking ahead of the game. They're constantly like not just thinking about like what they want to market, like big modern. I mean, can we just talk about like seeing them in like at the basketball game or whatever. Like I mean, like they're like big level thinking, and I couldn't. I wish I was in on those meetings, but I'm not.
Oh, okay.
I didn't
Yeah, I
even
was
know
wondering
about
if
it.
like yeah, if there was some street team aspect to that or not. That's interesting. Okay.
No, yeah. When I saw it, so my friend Ben, who is one of my friends I got into Goose, the one that uh I was talking about him earlier. I was telling him all about it. I was sending him the Reddit post, and he's like, "This isn't Goose. This is a joke." I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure it's Goose. I'll bet you $5, and I won $5 right when the YouTube video came on. I was like, "Oh, I got it! I got it! I did it!" And I was in Paris at the
Like,
time.
where's that $5, bro?
Yeah, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Um,
Pay up.
but I remember like Ted Jed and I. So I communicate with him through our fan accounts, and they call me Dennis as well. We were like, oh my gosh, what's happening, what's happening, the exclamation part mark is moving, oh my gosh. Like looking back on it, it's so funny because the whole joke of the album is, oh my gosh, look at you, you're like going crazy over like a moving exclamation mark on a screen. Like it's so stupid, and you're going crazy like analyzing the code. When "Good to Be" leaked in quotes, that was really cool. um, but I hope they do something like that again, and it would be really cool to get the street team involved. Um, but that was so cool. That was so cool how they combine the real life, the internet, just it was like everything. And then to
Oh
have
yeah.
the fan thing be in Lower Manhattan where it started in the Bowery with the first Reddit post. Um,
Mhm.
that was really cool.
Well, I think it's genius, and I think like I don't know if anybody likes NFL in here. I'm a huge football. I love football, and
Oh
like the
yeah.
first time we heard Goose on Sunday night, like me and my husband looked at each other and we were like, "What the is happening? Is that Goose? Is that Modifon right now?" And it was, and we were like, "What is happening?" And it's like I mean, I know from what I'm told is that like the NFL like person in charge of the music and stuff is he would hear you'll hear dead and you'll hear fish and you'll hear these things, but like moments like that are like it makes it like shareable. And I'm gonna be like I don't know if you know this about like I also got my dad into Goose, Matthew.
Oh wow, very
But he was
cool.
never like a jam band. Like, he loves Goose. He's not a huge music follower, but he loves to hear and like see like what the guys are doing, and he'll come to shows with me and stuff. But like, I'm like, Dad, did you just hear like Goose playing on NFL Sunday night? Like, I mean, it's just like little things like that, and that really wasn't even the. I mean, maybe it was some of the marketing team like in action, but like, I mean, I don't know. They're just creative and they're thinking outside the box.
it's really incredible, and it feels so genuine to the marketing. Like it really feels like they're really like bringing people in a community rather than just the music, and that's something that's great. Like it just feels like stuff just like almost um like like turned on when the whole big modern um campaign marketing campaign happened. And when I walk around that area, I'll see the big modern, the paint, and that's really cool.
I'm gonna grab this little. Hold on, sorry.
No problem.
So a little bit of the. Sorry about that.
No
I put
problem.
it a little too far away. But so here's an example of like what we're handing out, and like um, this time around, like I'm actually getting like materials like shipped and printed like to me. So then I'll like, so what I do now is I disperse and I'm recruiting across the country as like tour dates are coming up. I've got August dates all like covered right now. So basically what I did is they sent me a whole bunch of like cool printed handbills, and it's all like, big modern, and it's great because it's like not only are they promoting their album with us, but it's like here's like your QR code to scan and go. Um, but it's really strategic in that like it's not just like promoting the upcoming show, but it's also like a little of like, hey, check out this new album too. And so it's pretty genius, and it's
Yeah.
like we're sending this out, throughout the show or tour, I should say.
So that
It
actually
used
kind
to
of, we
be
only have a handful of questions. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
no, sorry. I don't know if it was me, but I didn't hear what you said.
No. So I was going to say we only have a handful of questions left here before we get into rapid fire. But one of the things you were just talking about here, where you're trying to line up things for the tour dates, how does someone who might be interested potentially get involved with the street team if they want to be a part of any of this?
Well, that's a great question. So this past year we started collaborating. I'm not necessarily a part of the marketing team per se because I'm like my own little separate entity, but like, so when Goose sends out their um, email communications, marketing text, like towards the bottom, and like if you read through the line, like there's options like, hey, do you want to join the street team? And here's like a little link for that, and
Okay.
we've gotten an overwhelming response. Like I wish I could like I want everybody on our team that wants to be on the team, but yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. And then maybe the best way to close it out before we get into our rapid fire, Mike, what do you think is if each of you could tell us what your favorite
for it.
part about being on the street team is, it'd be a good way to close out this chapter, and then we can start geeking out about Goose some more.
I'll go. I think my favorite part is just really not only sharing the experience, because like that's what it's always been about for me. It's always been about inviting other people to witness and experience a show. Um, a live show to me, like I love the recordings. I love the like listening things back, but like being at that show and being in that, it's like it's so spiritual, and I don't have a better like word for that. But I don't know how else to explain it. But to be able to share that with other people, I mean, like that's community to me on another level. Um, I think that's my favorite part is just connecting with other people, and it's not because I don't do this because I'm like I want to see numbers. I don't want to see. I don't care. Like I want the boys to be successful. But that's not what I do it. Like I do it because I just want to share this amazing experience. Like that's what it's all about for me. That's my favorite part is just like getting to connect with other people. And if I get to see like their face for their first time when they go to a show, like that's what I'm here for.
Hell yeah.
That's really funny. I'll show someone a video. I'm like, you see this guy next to the piano who's like jumping up and down, really excited. His name's Peter, and he's like really into the music, and I'm gonna get you really into the music as well. Um, but my favorite part of being a street teamer is having the street team as a home base and being able to tell someone that you're not just a fan, you're like a volunteer ambassador for the band, and you know the music really well. You could, if I go to with someone to a show, I can explain what's going on, because frankly, like I could imagine going to a jam band show and them playing like five songs set two, like that being really like weird and overwhelming. So being able to explain to someone, okay, this is kind of how a jam works, this is how a show works during the show, and provide like kind of like live commentary is really cool. And being able to sit down with someone like who just listened to Goose, I'm like, what do you think? Oh, that's incredible. Or send someone my playlist and be like, and they'll listen to it maybe on their own time and come up to me and be like, Madalena, that's an incredible song. That's incredible. And then they start obsessing over another song, and then like they're like, oh my gosh, it's so they're getting into Goose. It's incredible. And that's the most rewarding part. And then seeing like a friend you got into Goose, like my friends Ben and Parker coming along with me to a show and getting the music. Like my friend Ben started getting into Goose this time last year, and he just went to MSG and he knew most of the songs because he just started listening to them so much. And being able to, like, a new fan going to a show, understanding what's going on, explaining to, that's so rewarding. Seeing it, the best part of being a street teamer is seeing other people get into Goose and being able to share the music and share the community, and that's the best.
Amazing.
I
think
also,
both of
can
your
I just give
passions
one
is
little
the best.
shout out?
Yeah, of course.
I want to give a shout out to all of the street teamers who either worked with us and was a part of the team back through 2018, 2019, 2020, like through all of that, like they're MVPs. I want to give a shout out to our current team who's out there crushing it and is like so excited to help get this going again. Um, yeah, like it's an incredible team, and we're looking for energy. We're looking for people who, it they're not in it for a free ticket. You know, like that's not what it's about. It's really, we try to give. I don't give any like promises on what I can, I can't give. I'm contracted. I'm like my own. The street team is its own little entity. So like when we can give a ticket to somebody, like that's not the reason why we street team. We street team because we're just excited to share this
Mm-hmm.
band and this experience, and like I want to invite somebody to come in and say like, hey, like you're missing out, like if you don't see these guys.
I tell
Yeah.
people, like, they're like, why, like people who like don't know me too well and they're like starting to get to know me, why are you so obsessed with this band? I'm like, you don't get it yet. You just don't get it yet. You're gonna listen to them and you're gonna give them a couple listens and then you're gonna get it. And then I can show you photos I have from shows, and like it's like I my mom and I, like, in the car also sometimes listen to like Tales from the Golden Road, which it kind of reminds me of the Slow Ready podcast in a way. Um, she really likes David Lemieux, my mom, but we'll listen to Tales from the Golden Road. And being able to have that and being able to share that with someone, but for Goose, is awesome. And being able to welcome people, it's like more than music. Like people with the Grateful Dead, oh, it's about the music, it's about the music. It's not about the music, it's about the music and the community and the people that make the music possible, the fans, the band. I think their staff and their team deserves so much credit for, like, they deserve so much credit. Marketing, like lights, sound, the people like lifting the equipment after the show. Because after Goosemas, my dad and I, like, were just watching them take apart the stage for a bit. Um, and we're like, can you believe, like they have like a whole team to do this? They're like four guys and they have a whole team to do this. And like even like the business side of it, like I also study economics, and the business side of music is so interesting to me too. Like even that part, just all of it, like it's a major goose for everyone, and it's really good to be a Goose fan. See, with pun intended, good to be.
Well said.
Just real quick, I gotta say to your point, both y'all's point, really, is we have like an ever expanding list of cool people we want to talk to on this podcast, and there's never enough time. We probably have like 200 episodes we have ideally that we could plan that we just can never get to because there's just so many people in this ever expanding community. And the fact that Goose is thriving, building community like this, thanks in part to fans like y'all, and they're growing when the industry is really struggling right now, is a real testament to the fan base, I think.
100%.
It's a really exciting time to be a Goose fan.
Yeah. It's a great time to be a Goose fan.
Definitely. All right. So get into a rapid fire, Alex?
Yeah, let's do it.
Wait, what's this? I'm nervous.
They're just
we're going to
fun,
ask some
quick
rapid fire questions. Yeah. Go ahead, Mike. Sorry.
No. We're just going to alternate some fun, quick questions. I say rapid fire, but with two people, it's usually not as rapid. So you can make the answer as long or as quick as you want, but it's just basically Goose fan questions. So, like, for example, the first question we always ask everyone, and this is for both of you, is favorite song. And you can list a few if you want.
Creatures.
There we go.
Factory Fiction and Dustin Hoffman.
Okay. And then next up, favorite show.
MSG 2025.
I'm going to go in deep and say Resonance 2018.
Sick. Both great answers.
Amazing. And then favorite band or music besides Goose?
Oh. Probably The Grateful Dead.
None. Just kidding. I only say that to say, like, I right? That's the answer. I love all music. Goose is like the one I listen to all the time.
Yeah.
Okay. Where's a venue or a place that you hope to see Goose one day?
Riverbend in Cincinnati.
Soon.
Please. Also, I want to give a shout out to whoever on Reddit was like, I don't know if you guys saw this, but they were like, we're sorry for whatever we did here in Ohio. Like, we want you back. Like, please come. Do you remember that? It cracked me.
I did see that.
It cracked me up, and I was like, yes.
I think New Year's is what I'm hearing, possibly. I don't know.
They like New Year's shows in Cincinnati, I'm just saying. Yeah, they used to do Goosemas. Well, they used to play in Cincinnati. They used to play in Cincinnati around, like, when they do Goosemas now. And the only reason I know that is because it's always around my birthday. So they, not to be sappy, but they would give, like, they would be like, happy birthday, Lindsay. Like, they would shout out, like, little happy birthdays. And I would love to see them around that time. That's such a hard time to travel, you know? Like, the Christmas, Goosemas, but...
For me,
and
everyone's
then favorite
say the
concert
Sphere,
venue.
But the Sphere.
Yeah, the Sphere. Huge.
Yeah. That's the next step for them, I think. Or 3 nights at Forest Hills would be great. I love Forest Hills.
I think I froze there for a second, but favorite concert venue?
Red Rocks all day.
For me, probably Forest Hills.
Nice.
Or Central Park, but Forest Hills I really like.
Okay. Real quick, I got to throw out the band should play the Gorge again. If you guys ever have the chance to see a band at the Gorge, if you haven't, it's amazing. What's your big Chase song? We kind of talked about it earlier, but
aside from Creatures, Arcadia. Like, I can never explain, like, where Arcadia gets me. Like, it's no words.
Mm-hmm.
I think Lead the Way. They haven't played that in like over a year. Please bring that back. Lead the Way is the best.
Sadie.
Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
Turn Clouds, too.
yeah,
Can we give a shout out to Moon Cabin, please?
yeah.
Like, I love all the new stuff. I really do. But, like, can we give a shout out to Moon Cabin? And, like,
Moon
what
Cabin
they were able to
re-recorded.
do with Moon Cabin. Oh my god. Sorry, this is not rapid fire. Okay, focus.
That's all good. It
No,
never is. It never
I
is,
love Turn
Lindsay.
Clouds. Yeah, I got that in Raleigh. First album, cassette, or CD you ever bought?
Moon Cabin. But they also, again, it just gave it to me, so.
That's really cool. So I'm a Gen Z kid. It's all on Apple Music. I'm not a vinyl person, and it's not good. Vinyl's like I've always wanted to get into it, but that's like another hobby. But it's really cool. But yeah, I have it.
Yeah.
I have it on my phone, computer. But yeah,
All right.
Rapid fire,
Maybe-
what would you, if you were to buy one, Matthew, and like, whether it's a disc, you probably don't even use any of that, do you? Like a CD, or like if you were to buy one just to have, what would it be?
probably Big Modern. For a vinyl would be really cool. That would probably be my first one. Um, just because it's Big Modern, like it's awesome.
Oh my gosh. All right. I don't know if Gen Z does karaoke, but we always ask, what's your
Sometimes.
go-to karaoke song if you have one?
I have a really funny story.
Go
So
for it.
I was at a hostel in Rome, and we were doing a karaoke, and it was all these different like travelers. And I was trying to find a Goose song, and the only one on YouTube was the Iguana song, so I sang the Iguana song.
Amazing.
It was
That's
great.
amazing.
Yeah.
I love it.
I won't carry. I
No.
like. I have to have a few drinks to even consider it, and even then, I'm like, meh.
Fair enough. Band or artist on your bucket list to see?
Dave Matthews. I'm so excited to see him at Bourbon Beyond with Goose.
Amazing.
So I've been listening to a lot of Noah Kahn lately, and he already came to City Field around here, but seeing Noah Kahn would be awesome because I was listening to The Great Divide, and that's like mainstream music, but he's great. That's like that's Bob Dylan level writing to me. But Noah Kahn would definitely be up there. Nefesh Mountain, all these different groups.
All right. Now it's going to just get ridiculous here. Would you rather fight one elephant-sized goose or 200 goose-sized elephants?
Wait, stop. Can I just tell you another side story to this? My husband Johnny, he's gonna fucking lose it here. I'm sorry to drop a bomb, but
All right.
so back in whenever, what year? I guess it was 2020 when Goose did their like one of their first like drive-ins at Legend Valley in Ohio.
Mm-hmm.
It was super cool just to be in like everybody's like car camp, like everybody's like spaces were like super like safe and appropriately like distant, so like people could feel comfortable just being at a show. My now husband, boyfriend at the time, and we ran the merch booth, and it was absolutely insane. I mean, I don't even. I bartend on the side. Just been a bartender forever. Love. Shout out to all the bartenders, but like when I'm saying it was like the Super Bowl of getting your ass kicked at a merch tent. It was, and so I don't know. I can't remember like why me and my husband decided like to do this, but we like set up a little tip jar, 2 tip jars. And it started because we had the question of if hold on, I don't want to butcher this, but it was like, okay, if would you rather fight one horse-sized goose or 100 goose-sized horses? And I'm I don't know. I'm sorry to derail yours and put it into ours, but like, I was like, we were getting like, I'm team. I would rather fight one horse-sized goose, or like, give me one giant goose, and I can strategize with it. But he was like, hell no, I want to fight 100 goose-sized horses, and I'm like, here's the thing, you're gonna get trampled. Like, yeah, like a huge ass horse sized goose is terrifying. They're mean as shit. And I'm sorry, like, I'm going to go for a jugular. I'm going to take it down right there. And and he's like, hell no. He's like, no, I'm going to like machete my way through these animals. I was like, no, you're not. There's 100 of them coming at once. So forever, I'm going to take the one big thing, and he'll never let me forget it, because we did really well in tips that night. Like, thankfully, thank you to all the people who tip their their merge people. But like, I messed up, and we were just like trying to clean up and helping John Lombardi like load up the trailer. This was before they had their awesome like merch team. Now they needed some extra hands, so he did it. But like, Johnny, my husband, he will never let me forget, because I just combined the tip buckets, and like, we never figured out the answer.
Oh no!
That was the best answer to that question we've ever gotten, though. I think we've asked it 15 times, and that was so realistic.
Okay, how about you, Matthew?
I don't think I'm going to top that, but it's really funny because we're talking about goose, and it's like an animal, like the song Animal. And it's funny because probably one goose. I think. I don't think 100. I think one. My friend and I played this game called Root, or we would listen to Goose and play this board game called Root. I like to play this. It's where it's like a complicated board game. Everyone has a different faction. They're all like different animals. And I like to play this faction called the Woodland Alliance. And we'd always listen to Goose while we were playing that game one summer, or last summer actually. And it really, that question reminded me of that.
It's crazy how Matthew can tie any question back to a Goose song. I love it.
Always.
I know. I'm
junior analyst.
Yeah.
Yeah, we might need to hire Matthew, Mike. Honestly.
Yeah. Internship available if you're available for 2 different Goose projects. Another ridiculous
economics,
question.
Goose,
Yeah.
like.
Continuing the ridiculousness, at a show, would you rather be stuck next to someone who sings all the lyrics wrong, or someone who accidentally slaps you with flailing arms every few minutes?
Oh my gosh. At a fish show I was at, someone was slapping me with flailing arms when Run Like an Antelope came on. I thought a song called Possum was Run Like an Antelope, but I'm not as familiar with fish. But I said, when they were playing Possum, I was like, is this Run Like an Antelope? She's like, no, that's, I'll go crazy when they play that. And at the end of the show, this was night one of the MSG run this year, or this summer. They played Run Like an Antelope. She's like, you predicted it, and like started flailing her arms. And I'm like, if it were a Goose show right now and they were playing Factory Fiction, I'd be where you were right now. I totally get it. But I think seeing someone like get really hyped up is so cool at the show. When like sometimes I'll even sing the lyrics wrong, because sometimes Rick doesn't. Sometimes it doesn't come across too clear live version. Like that one line from Justin Hoffman, they keep on changing. It's not on the album. It's like, any lie I was fool enough to believe. It's like the one last left or something like that. But like, I feel like you can make the lyrics what you want of them, and if you want to like make them your own, fine. It's great music. So both answers. So I don't mind either.
Say very democratic answer.
Yeah. I don't mind. It's
bipartisan.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I would rather, like, if somebody's singing the wrong lyrics right next to me, who cares? Like, everybody's living their own journey.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, whether it's right or wrong, I don't give a shit. Like, I think it's, even like, yeah, and this might not be a popular opinion here. If people are chomping, like, I don't even hear them. Like, you know what I mean? Because, like, I'm just like I'm in the zone. Like, I can't even like feel or happen. Like, I mean, I'm enjoying the vibes around, but like, I don't want to get hit in the face. But I also don't care if like what other people are doing around me. Like that's what they're doing. Like, I'm here. I'm doing me. But I don't want to get hit in the face.
I'm with you.
Okay, this one definitely won't apply for Matthew, so maybe we'll reference your parents for this one. Which member of Goose would you trust the most to babysit for you, or to babysit you when you were younger, Matthew? And which one would you trust the least?
That's such a funny question. I think my mom would definitely trust Rick a lot. I think Cotter, though, I don't think they trust Cotter at all. I don't think 2020, like, I don't think they would trust Cotter. I think Rick. My mom would definitely
Lindsay's
pick Rick.
laughing so hard.
I'm trying to contain it.
Like, that guy slept on my floor. He's crazy.
Yeah.
Oh gosh, this is hard. I'd trust them all. But Cotter, I really don't know Cotter as well as I do know the other guys. Honestly, I would trust. Hear me out. I would trust Trevor because he was, at least back in the day, like when they were on tour and they didn't have a driver, like they didn't have all these things. Like Trevor was the bus driver. Like he drove that thing everywhere religiously,
That
and like
checks.
he like preferred that. He was like he was just and he's I don't know if you guys have ever met Trevor, but he's really chill. He's really down to earth, but he's very thoughtful and methodical. Everyone is, but I would trust Trevor.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
He's the
sorry.
best.
I know we're almost time, but there's one thing I want to show you guys. I just remembered. So at Goosemas, they gave me this ticket and it has my name on it and I framed it and I wanted to show. I just saw it in the background. It reminded me. So I was thinking about sharing it with everyone, but I wanted to. But it's a nice little artifact I just thought about, so I wanted to show. Yeah.
That's
so
awesome,
cool.
man.
Yeah.
I could listen to you talk about Goose and geek out for like hours, Matthew.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Same.
You get me all hyped
Very
about
much
having
same.
a podcast on him.
Yeah. But it's funny because Cotter is from Vermont, and when I was a kid, like I would always cook with my babysitters, and if Cotter is from Vermont, he must know how to make ice cream because Ben and Jerry's is from Vermont. So perhaps Cotter, so it's a good question. Like Cotter might be more fun, but Rick would probably be more like serious. And Rick, when like these guys kind of reminded me of like my music teacher. Like I was really a music kid. They kind of reminded me of like my music instructors as a kid, like my trumpet teacher or something. They totally give that like jazz instructor vibe, and that's like really cool.
My trumpet teacher.
Yeah, I was. So I played.
I want to meet your trumpet teacher.
Yeah, he was really nice. I played trumpet in elementary school, middle, and high school. Then I got more into visual art in high school, but I still played. I play piano and ukulele. I never got to play around to playing guitar. I just gravitated toward the ukulele. Like my dad. Oh, actually, the ukulele I was told to buy first was from that girl who told me about Goose, which was really funny.
She sounds awesome.
Yeah, I haven't talked to her in a long time. But or actually no, yeah, I saw her at the Central Park Goose show. I talked to her. So that's funny. So
I'm buying tickets to Connecticut to hang out with Matthew.
Oh no, I live on Long Island. Oh wait.
No, but you're going to the Connecticut shows.
Yeah. Oh
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
I'm
Come to
changing my
Mohegan
travel
Sun.
plans to hang out with you.
Come to Mohegan Sun, and then come to New York. Their next Goose show. Maybe they'll play at Jones Beach actually on Long Island. That would be a great venue for them. Sorry,
Ooh.
that would
Can we
be
just like give a shout out to your 21st birthday
yeah.
show? When's that again?
So my birthday is actually a month before, but I go to school near Boston, and I'm going down to Connecticut for the weekend, and I'm seeing them at Mohegan Sun, and it will be really fun. And it will be cool seeing them at a resort. I think after college, so I'm going into my senior year. I'm probably going to go to Viva El Gonzo. Um, but
Amazing.
yeah, it just, I mean, every, in
Well,
every, yeah,
everybody should come out and celebrate. Like, I'm not going to be able to be there, unfortunately, but shout out
Matthew.
to Matthew's 21st birthday
yeah, yes,
Oh,
Yeah.
in Boston, Mohegan Sun.
yeah.
My wife and I will be there, Matthew. We'll buy you a drink.
Perfect,
Celebrate.
yeah.
You're into that. If you're into that.
Yeah. My parents told me, oh, you'll finally be able to legally drink at a resort, like in America. I'm like, oh yeah, that's like really funny. Um, but
Oh my gosh, this is a riot.
I'm dead.
yeah, they're, I mean, yeah, but yeah, I go with my parents to Goose shows a lot. My mom went to her first show at MSG. My dad like totally got me into music, like the Dead. I used to hate the Grateful Dead before the pandemic, and then he like forced me to listen to it, the studio stuff. Then I got into the live stuff.
Yeah.
Sounds like a great dad.
Yeah,
This is the way.
Yes.
And
yeah,
the fact that your parents go with you is awesome.
yeah. I usually want them to come along.
Yeah.
But to a Dead show, it's like a family occasion. Like we went to the Sphere as a family. Like even my sister came. That's like going to see
That's
the Dead was
awesome.
like going to see the Dead at City Field. That's like a family. That's like a family thing. It's like it could be like a SNL skit going to see the Grateful Dead at City Field with a family. Like it's really funny. It's fun. It's like a whole family occasion. It's like a holiday. And but like we're not the only ones. Like so many families are into the Grateful Dead. Like even Goose, you see so many families there, and it's so awesome.
Oh yeah. So I think that was all
we
the
make a
questions. So, go ahead.
Sorry, I'm so sorry to interrupt you. My
No, go
question
ahead.
is, prediction analysts, when are we going to see Goose at the Sphere?
Oh, okay. So I read something somewhere. I think someone sent it in the Slack group chat, and I think Rick said it like might not be happening soon, but it will happen. I think it's going to happen in like maybe like 5 years. I think they need to. I think they need to sell out the Garden like 3 nights and really like they have Viva El Gonzo, and that's a destination festival, and to get people to go see another destination like kind of festival is difficult. Like the Grateful Dead and Fish can do it. Goose is going to have to build up to that in a couple of years. Um, it'll give it time. Give it time.
That was good. That was good.
There's that magic once again,
Yeah.
just connecting songs. Mike, you want to go?
I mean, it could be 5 years, but it could be as soon as next year. I mean, James Dolan owns MSG and he owns the Sphere, so he's already seen firsthand that they have the ability to sell out his biggest venue. And I don't think it's ever really that hard to convince people, especially the ones that are already a fan of Vegas, to go to Vegas.
Right.
They intentionally keep the flights there cheaper than pretty much anywhere else in the United States. So it's always easy for people to get to Vegas. I think they could do it next year if they wanted to. It's just a matter of like logistically, if like they think that it'll fit with everything else they want to do, and you know what they've got planned for Gonzo and all of the rest of the year.
Yeah, I think that's well said. The thing with the Sphere, it's less about the destination and selling the seats and more about the overall expense of the production. I think would be the big hang up. So it's hard to say. I think hopefully within the next 5 years, like you predicted, Matthew. But
Yeah.
it given a specific year, I don't know, Lindsay. That'd be I would be guessing, throwing a dart at the wall. So let me say 2029.
Yeah, and they should
All
do a
right.
peach. They should do the peach set at the Sphere and have the background for one of the things be the Peach Festival, and then it could be the Garden, and then it could be Red Rocks, and then they can do like outside of like I know like Chain Your Dragon, the Moon, like that venue would be cool, like with the lore. Sorry, I'm like nerding out now.
You got
Well,
ideas for days,
I
man.
was gonna
Yeah.
say, Matthew, you're a Nintendo guy. If they don't do a Sphere show with Super Smash Brothers playing
Yeah.
all around as they're playing some song,
That would be
that would
so
be a
funny.
total travesty.
So funny. Yeah, that would be hilarious.
Well, I think that was all the questions. So I think that really, like at this point, all we usually do is just if there's anything that y'all want to shout out or plug or anything that's on the brain or near and dear to your heart, floor is yours.
I'll send out a plug if anybody's going to be at Bourbon and Beyond. I'm hoping to set up just like a meet and greet, and I'm inviting people to come and help us promote. I think this is an incredible opportunity with a diverse artist list, which means that there's a diverse set of fans that we can potentially like introduce this group to. And so, yeah, if there's any interest, you can. I don't know. I think that maybe the best way to get a hold of me, you've got my email address if you want to drop that down,
Sure.
and people can email me and we can talk about promoting at Bourbon and Beyond.
Yeah, we can share any link or email or whatever in the show doc that you want. So if there's something that you want me to share, I'll put it there.
Perfect. Thanks.
Yeah, for me, you can follow Goose on the Go _ it. You can reach out to me through there. I'd love to meet up at Mohegan Sun and hear about your theories of how the songs relate. And no idea. There's no such thing as bad ideas when it comes to connecting Goose songs. So I'm excited to hear other people's theories at the Mohegan Sun show. We can like figure out what their next album is going to be, or when the next time they're going to play Lead the Way will be.
Amazing.
Yes.
Well, I truly mean this. It was an absolute delight having both of you on. This was one of my favorite conversations that I've ever participated in, podcast or otherwise, just generally speaking. So y'all are welcome back anytime. And this was absolutely amazing. Thank you both so much. Cannot wait to meet you at a show.
Thank you.
No, the best. Thank you all for coming on. We need another 5 hours to chat, so let's just plan for another episode at some point.
Yeah.
Be the best.
Yeah.
I've got more stories, so anytime. Thank you so much for having us. We really appreciate it.
This was fantastic.
So much fun. Thank you to everyone for listening, and we'll see you soon here for the rest of Goose's summer tour, which is starting up soon.
Take care, y'all.
Bye, guys.